Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are very fine. So, my dear students, let's start a new story. Have you seen a necklace? How many types of necklace are there? Like silver necklace, gold necklace, diamond necklace. Okay. Uh, Mostly girls likes this type of necklaces, है ना? And your mothers also like. Yes, today I am going to start a new story, that is chapter number 1 in your glory book of class 7th, The Diamond Necklace. Let's start reading the story. This story is related to such a lady who belonged to a middle class family but had a great desire to look herself as rich. Once she borrowed a necklace from her neighbor that was lost the same day. The lady had to do the hardest work to pay the neighbor. Now, read and enjoy the story. So, in this paragraph, the author has summarized the story about the necklace. Means in this story there is a one girl, one lady who is from the middle class family, and she has borrowed a necklace from her neighbor, but it was lost on the same day, and she was done lot of hard work to pay the neighbor. Okay, so let's start reading the story. She was a pretty and charming girl born in a family of clerks. She had no evening clothes, no jewels, nothing. But those were the things she wanted. She was married to a clerk in the Ministry of Education, but she was ambitious and pictured herself in the highest level of French society. Then one evening, her husband came home proudly holding out a large envelope. She excitedly tore open the envelope and pulled out a card. It was an invitation for an evening reception from the Ministry of Education. So, this story is related to a girl. She was a pretty and a charming girl. She born in a clerk's family, and but she's desires are too much. She want evening clothes, jewels, and all. But she was married to a clerk again, and she was very ambitious, but she didn't get her desires. Then when a evening her husband came to her proudly by saying that there is today I got an invitation card to go in a Ministry of Education party. Okay, now let's start reading the other paragraph. Instead of being delighted, she tossed the card on the table, murmuring, "What good is that to me? But, my dear, I thought you had been thrilled. Not many clerks get this invitation. You will see all the most important people there," said Mr. Lozel. She gave him an irritated glance and burst out, "But what do you think I have to wear?" Means here the husband came to her very happily by taking the invitation card, but she was not delighted. She was just murmuring and telling that what I should do, what I will do with this invitation, what I should wear on that party, on that party, whatever the party is. ठीक है, she was worried about the wearing dress, कि मैं क्या पहनूंगी वहाँ पे पार्टी में. He stopped as his wife burst out weeping. 2 large tears rolled down her cheeks. Means after telling कि मैं वहाँ पे क्या पहनूंगी, she started crying. वो रोने लग गई. Why? What's the matter? She asked distress. अब उसके husband पूछता है, क्या हुआ, क्यों रो रही हो तुम? Oh, nothing. Only I haven't an evening dress and therefore I can't go to that party. Give the card to some friend at the office whose wife can dress better than me, she said, कि मैं उस इवनिंग में मेरे पास कोई इवनिंग ड्रेस नहीं है, तो व्हाट शुड आई विल वियर ऑन दैट पार्टी. सो यू कैन गिव दिस इनविटेशन कार्ड टू योर फ्रेंड. Now start reading another paragraph. Mr. Lozel was stunned. He said, "Let's see, Mathilde, how much would a new dress cost? Something simple that you would wear for other affairs too." She thought for several seconds. Finally, she answered, "I am not sure exactly, but I think with 400 francs I could manage," she said. Her husband asked, "What type of dress you want to wear, and tell me the cost of that dress so I can manage the cost of that dress." So she said after thinking, "I want 400 francs." वो बोलती है कि मुझे 400 francs चाहिए. She turned a bit pale but said, वो मतलब थोड़ा सा उसका मुंह, जो उसके हस्बैंड था उसका मुंह पेल तो हो गया कि डिस्टर्ब तो हो गया कि मैं 400 francs कहाँ से लाऊंगा. बट he said, "All right, I will give you 400 francs, but try to get a nice dress. अच्छी ड्रेस लेके आना." As the day of party approached, Mrs. Lossell seemed sad, moody, and ill at ease. When her husband asked her the reason, she said, "I have no jewelry, nothing to wear on my dress. I will look like a pauper." Pauper? What's the meaning of pauper? Pauper meaning is chief monetary unit in France. Okay, chief monetary unit in France. Mr. Lossell couldn't afford jewels. He suggested, "Go see your friend Mrs. Forrester. Ask her to lend you some jewelry. She is your old friend and she is rich." Her husband said that you can take from your friend jewelry for some time. Okay, Mathilde gave a cry of joy. "Is that so? I hadn't thought of that. मैंने ऐसा सोचा नहीं था." So next day she paid a visit to her friend. She was astonished when Mrs. Forrester agreed to lend her a splendid diamond necklace. Means her friend is agreed to give her a diamond necklace. The day of the party arrived. Mrs. Lossell was the prettiest woman at the ball. All the men turned to look at her. Means she was looking very prettiest in the party and all were looking only to her. She left around 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband covered his shoulder with a wrap and called a cab. It dropped them home. Before the mirror, she let the wrap fall from her shoulder to see herself in all her glory once more. Suddenly she gave a cry. The necklace was gone. Means when they came back from the party and her shoulders was covered with a cloth, and when she just opened the wrap of the cloth and she has seen on the mirror, in the mirror, her necklace was lost, was not there. She was started crying. They haunted everywhere, though through the folds of the dress and the coat, in the pockets. They found nothing. All their efforts to find the necklace were in vain. Means they were very panic. वो सब जगह ढूंढते हैं, but they didn't get the necklace. At the end of a week, they had given up all hope. Now Lozel, looking 5 years older, declared, "We must do something to replace the necklace." अब वो सोचते हैं कि अभी हमें कुछ करना पड़ेगा इस नेकलेस को लौटाने के लिए. They went from jewelry to jeweler hunting for a similar necklace. They found a necklace exactly like the one they had lost. It was priced at 40,000 francs. They could get it for 36. Means कि उन्होंने वो ऐसे ही सेम नेकलेस दुकान पे पता करने, शॉप पे पता करने जाते हैं, तो दे हैव गॉट द सेम नेकलेस, बट दैट नेकलेस वॉज द प्राइस ऑफ, क्या था उसका प्राइस, 40,000 francs. But they said that we'll give you in 36, but they were not having. Mr. Lossell collected all his saving and borrowed the rest. Finally he bought the necklace. उसने जितनी भी सेविंग थी उसके हस्बैंड ने वो सारी इकट्ठे की एंड फिर वो नेकलेस ले आए. When Mrs. Lossell took the necklace to Mrs. Forrester, she said, "You Should have bought it back earlier. I might have needed it. Mrs. Losses now learned what it was like to be really poor, but she played her part bravely. That frightful debt had to be paid. She would pay it. She dismissed her maid and they moved into a garret. She did all the rough household work, washed up after meals, and ruined her fingernails scrubbing dirty dishes and hung it out on the line to dry. Every morning she carried the rubbish down to the street and brought up the water, pausing for breath at the top of each flight of stairs. Dressed like a working woman, she went with her basket on her arm to the greengrocer. The grocer and the butcher, bargaining, arguing, and fighting for every penny. Her husband spent his evening working at some shopkeeper accounts. Means they both have done a very hard work to get that ज्वेलरी, दैट नेकलेस बैक. मीन्स वो दिन रात मेहनत करते हैं. उसने जो उसके घर में काम वाली लगा रखी थी वो भी हटा दी. एंड शी डिड ऑल द हाउस होल्ड वर्क बाय हर सेल्फ. अपने आप ही सारा काम करती थी. एंड उसका हस्बैंड भी अपने जॉब के बाद एक शॉपकीपर के पास काम करने लग गया, अकाउंट्स बनाने लग गए. एंड एट नाइट ही ऑफन कॉपीड पेपर्स एट अ फ्यू पेनीज अ पेज. फिर वो काउंट करता था कि आज कितने हमारे पास पैसे जमा हो गए हैं. मिसेस लॉसल नाउ लुक लाइक एन ओल्ड वुमन. अब वो ओल्ड वुमन जवानी में ही ओल्ड वुमन लगने लगी. शी सेड बिकम अ टिपिकल पुअर मैन्स वाइफ, रफ एंड कॉर्स. वो ऐसा लग रहा है कि गरीब पर्सन की वाइफ है ये. हर हेयर was neglected, her dress was untidy, her hands were red, but now and then, when her husband was at the office, she could sit by the window and her thoughts would go back to the faraway evening, the evening of her beauty and her success. What would have been the end of it if she had not lost the necklace? Means she was just thinking, वो सब भूल चुकी थी. She was thinking about the necklace. अगर हम वो necklace नहीं लुटाएंगे तो क्या होगा? Who could say? How strange and varied are the chance of life. How a small thing can save or ruin you. One Sunday she went for a walk in the Thames, uh, Alice's, and she caught sight of a lady with a child. उसने उस लेडी को देखा, अपनी फ्रेंड को. She recognized Mr. Forrester, who looked as young as pretty. वो जैसे वैसी यंग और प्रिटी लग रही थी. एंड अट्रैक्टिव एज एवर. मिसेस लॉसल फेल्ट अ वेव ऑफ सैडनेस पास ओवर हर. उसने बड़ी उदासी की नज़र से उसकी तरफ देखा. वुड शी स्पीक टू हर? शुड शी स्पीक टू हर? वाई नॉट नाउ दैट द डेप्थ वॉज पेड. अब जो था वो उसने पेड कर दिया. वाई शुड शी नॉट टेल हर द होल स्टोरी? शी वेंट अप टू हर. उसने बोला कि मैं अपनी सारी स्टोरी उसे सुना देती हूँ. गुड मॉर्निंग जेने. Her friend did not recognize her and said, I am afraid I don't know, you must have made a mistake. No, I am Mythal Lozel. बोले तुम कौन हो? उसने उसको पहचाना ही नहीं. Her friend uttered a cry. वो रोने लग गई. Oh my poor dear Mythal, how you have changed. कैसे तुम में change आ गया? Yes, I have been through a very hard time since I saw you last. कि मैंने बहुत हार्ड टाइम देखा है. What do you mean? यू रिमेंबर द डायमंड नेकलेस यू लेंट मी टू वियर. तुम्हें याद है जो तुमने मुझे कुछ टाइम पहनने के लिए वो नेकलेस दिया था? येस. वेल आई लॉस्ट इट. आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. यू ब्रॉट इट बैक टू मी. ठीक है. वट आई ब्रॉट यू बैक वॉज अनदर वन एग्जैक्टली लाइक इट. एंड फॉर द लास्ट 10 years वी हैव बीन पेइंग फॉर इट. यू कैन इमेजिन दैट. तुम्हें याद है जो नेकलेस मैंने तुम्हें वापस किया था? उस नेकलेस के लिए जो पेमेंट है अब हम दोनों हस्बैंड वाइफ मिलके वो पे कर रहे हैं. यू कैन इमेजिन दैट इट वॉज ईजी फॉर अस. शी हैडेंट अ पेनी. Who hadn't a penny? However, it's all over now, and I am glad of it. Mrs. Forrester stopped dead. You mean that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine? कि तुमने मेरे जो नेकलेस था उसको रिप्लेस करने के लिए उसकी जगह डायमंड नेकलेस मुझे दिया. येस, एंड यू नेवर नोटिस्ड इट. दे वर क्वाइट अलाइक. कि तुमने उसे नोटिस नहीं किया. शी स्माइल विद प्राइड एंड सेटिस्फैक्शन. बट मिसेस फॉरेस्टियर सेज्ड बोथ हर हैंड्स इन ग्रेट डिस्ट्रेस. वो अपने एक दोनों हाथ को ऐसे सरप्राइजिंगली अपने वैसे रखती है. डिस्ट्रेस्ड मीन्स सेवरली पेन्ड एंड ग्रेट सोरो. उसको बड़ा दुख होता है. ओ माई पुअर डियर मैथाइल, वाई माइन वॉज ओनली इमिटेशन. मेरा सिर्फ आर्टिफिशियल था वो. एट द मोस्ट इट वॉज वर्थ 500 फ्रांस. वो सिर्फ 500 फ्रांस का था. She said, and she concluded the story. So my dear students, our story has end here. What you have to do, you have to read this stories thoroughly. I'll ask you the in between questions, okay, and you have to write the chapter name, chapter number 1 with the name, date, proper date, and write the word meanings in your notebook. First you have to write the chapter 1, chapter name, draw the picture of necklace, then write down the word meaning and send the pic to me. Thank you. Have a nice day.